Man, this team is putting me through the ringer. This squad is putting me through the ringer. But I still love them. Boy, do I love the Miami Heat, man. They there's something special, man. Everyone talks about, and they always ask this, especially when it comes to asking Heat players. They'll ask Spoelstra if they ever get an interview with Pat Riley, or if they're talking to Alonzo Mourning, or even the Heat Nation. When you're talking to us, the fans, they'll always ask us, what is Heat culture? Like, how do you describe it? And we always try to tell you guys that it's a complicated situation. There's so much that goes into Heat culture. If you ask me what Heat culture is, in the simplest way, I'll say this. Heat culture is about having the will to fight, never backing down. If there's one way you can describe Heat culture, it would be resiliency. This squad, this team, this franchise, this unit, they refuse to die. No matter how you feel about it, they will find a way to fight and claw back into any game they're in. They're never out of it. They are one of the fiercest competitors you can ever face. When you're facing a team where the light in their eyes never completely go away. The light in their eyes, it never dims down. It never fades. It never goes away. It never dies. They don't care about who they're facing. They will continue to be who they are, and they won't back down from anybody. Now, that doesn't mean that they're guaranteed to win, because obviously we're not walking around with like 10, 15 championships. But it does mean that they will not die. They will not back down until the very end. And that's the essence of what Heat culture is. There's more to that, but if I had to explain it in the most simplest way possible, it's about resiliency. It's about surviving. It's about fighting till the very end. Just giving every aspect of your body and soul to compete and do whatever it takes to win. As an athlete, as a competitor, as a player, giving every essence of your talent and ability and mindset, giving everything you have to the game to do whatever it takes to win. That's what it's about. That's Heat culture. That's at least the very basic aspect I can speak on when it comes to this. Tonight was the very essence of that. Miami started off fast. They were up by 11 in the first quarter. It looked like this could be a game where they come in and steal it. Unfortunately, that's just not how the Heat are. They don't get easy wins. Everything they get, they have to fight for. They have to earn. And you saw that because in the second quarter, Denver flexed their talent, man. See, Miami likes to play slow. They like to slow the pace down and force you to play the way they want to play. Denver, they play quick. They get out on the fast break and get these points. That's just what they do. They play fast. They push the pace. They push the energy. And you see it, especially when Jokic has the ball. He'll push the ball down the court, and you'll just be like, damn. He's coming down the court like a freight train. Not even a fast one, but like a freight train. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, MPJ, KCP, Bruce Brown, Jamal Murray, somehow one of those guys is open. At times, two of them will be open. You'll watch Jokic come down the court, pushing the tempo, and he'll just pass to the corner. All of a sudden, KCP's open. Now you try to fly in. KCP throws it all the way to the other side of the court, and now you got Jamal Murray open for three. I mean, they go like that. And they did that in the second quarter, and Miami did not have an answer. But the Miami Heat, they're a resilient unit. They don't back down. They don't give up. They don't just fall and die. They continue to fight and claw back into the game. And that's what they did. A 15-point lead was dropped to 6 points just before halftime. And in my mindset, as long as the Heat are not down double digits heading into halftime, they have a chance to win that game. Third quarter was a weird quarter, man. It was a weird quarter because it was a situation where Miami wasn't scoring and Denver wasn't scoring. Fouls were getting called. It was a back and forth affair. Miami had an opportunity to tie the game on several occasions, but just couldn't due to turnovers or fouls happening. 1 minute it would be a 5-point game, next minute it would be a 3-point game, next minute it would be back to 5, then it's a 2-point game, then it's back to 5, and it's just like, oh my goodness. It was a back and forth affair. And then Denver went on a little run to make it an 8-point game heading into the fourth quarter. But man, the fourth quarter, something about this fourth quarter for the Heat, it just brings out the very best in them because they know they have to give everything they have left if they want to win. And you saw that, man. Duncan Robinson was the unsung hero tonight. 10 points. All 10 of those points were in the fourth quarter. All 10 of those points happened in the first half of the fourth quarter. Every single one of those points he made were needed because we were down by 8. And Duncan Robinson went on a 10-point frenzy on his own to give us the lead. And once Miami got the lead, man, they just kept pouring it on and pouring it on and pouring it on. And next thing you know, they were up by 11. And the game starts to wind down. And now Denver's starting to panic. They have to go fast. They got to get back into it. And of course, Denver, as talented as they are and as resilient as they are, because, again, they've shown some resiliency because you saw with the Lakers had multiple double-digit leads throughout games 2, 3, and 4. And Denver found a way to erase all those and win those games. So obviously they have the capability of coming back. They are another team that if they're down double digits in the postseason, they can definitely come back, especially with the talent they have. And boy, did they show that with Jokic and Murray. Murray, for much of this game, he kind of went silent. You know, this wasn't the best performance from him. He kind of went silent. He became very passive. KCP didn't have a good game. MPJ didn't have a good game. You weren't really seeing much from Aaron Gordon. This was a situation where Jokic kind of just had to carry the load scoring-wise. And honestly, that's the key to beat them. If Jokic is carrying scoring-wise, you have the best chance to beat them. Jokic had 4 assists today. That worked perfectly to Miami's advantage. You can't have Jokic put up a 30-point triple-double. You'll lose. If he has a 30-point triple-double, you're going to lose. But if he's dropping 40-plus points and only has 4 or 5 assists, you have a great chance to win. And that's what happened tonight. But yeah, they started to push the tempo late in the game. All of a sudden, Jamal Murray hits a couple threes, and we're under a minute, and it's like a 3-point game. And it's just like, oh, my God. Jamal Murray hits a 3 and makes it a 3-point game. And Jimmy Butler goes down the court, who, by the way, Jimmy Butler, again, did not have a great game. You could tell his shot is just not there. I don't know exactly how badly that ankle injury is affecting him, but he's not going to use that as an excuse, so we're not going to use that as an excuse. Jimmy Butler's shot is not there right now, but he found it in the fourth quarter, and he was just hitting some clutch shots, man. He had a clutch 3. He had a floater. He had a mid-range jump shot. The guy was just making plays. I think he had 9 or 10 points in the fourth quarter alone. When Jimmy Butler needs to show up and be the guy, he has shown that he can do that. That's why he's the leader of this team. Sometimes you just need your best players to show up. Even if they're having a poor game, you need them to show up in the most important moments. And Jimmy showed up in the most important moments of this game. Thankfully, we already had the lead at the time, but still, he needed to show up and score the way he was doing. Otherwise, we would have lost that lead completely. So, yeah, Jimmy makes a 5-point game. They go down the court. Jokic scores again. And then we have one last chance. And give credit to Denver's defense because they put us in a bad situation. And Jimmy wasn't able to get the exact matchup he wanted. He was on Jokic, but he had an opportunity to pull up from mid-range, but there was great help defense. I think it was Bruce Brown that helped with that defense. Or maybe it was KCP. But there was great help defense that kind of almost got to Jimmy. So Jimmy had to pull the ball down, pass the Bam passed it back. And now all of a sudden Jimmy's taking a step-back 3. And you know Jimmy in these moments, him having to take a step back 3 is the worst shot for him. We know he can hit those shots, but his shot is not there right now. So him taking a step back 3 as opposed to a mid-ranger is dangerous. They get the ball, and, it's very interesting how Mike Malone chose not to call a timeout. We've been seeing this with coaches. Budenholzer chose not to call a timeout on the final possession when they needed to score. We saw this again with Ime Udoka. We've seen it at time. We saw it with Tom Thibodeau. You just see it. Sometimes coaches are they're okay with trusting their best player to go down the. That's Ime Udoka. My mistake. I meant Joe Mazzulla. Udoka, you did that, but I meant Joe Mazzulla. I'm sorry, my mistake. But yeah, you saw that with Budenholzer. You saw that with Thibodeau. You saw that with Mazzulla. They're okay with just letting their best players go down the court and go make that play. Go see if he can make that play. And Mike Malone's no different. He could have called a timeout. They had a timeout left. But you also run the risk of Eric Spoelstra setting up a defense prepared for anything. Because if you're going to shoot a 3, we're going to play zone. He's going to throw a zone out there to get you off the 3-point line because you need 3. And Mike Malone knew that. So he said, instead of having us call a timeout to make Spoelstra make the adjustment to put them in the zone to prepare to stop us from shooting a three, because they're going to try to get us off the three-point line with that zone, instead of that happening, we're just going to go and I'm going to trust my best players to go out there. And he trusted Jamal Murray. And let me tell you, man, Jimmy Butler played fantastic defense on Jamal Murray on that final play. And at the same time, Jamal Murray was so talented, he was able to get a quality look. Despite the great defense Jimmy was playing, he was able to get a quality look from three. It just didn't go down. And thankfully, Miami learned from what happened in Game 6. They made sure to rebound that basketball. So they got the rebound there, so they didn't get a second chance. And Miami found a way to survive and take Game 2. Oh, my God, man. Tonight was a hell of a game. I can't even lie. Tonight was a hell of a game. Scoring-wise, if you look at it, it wasn't a great scoring game by this team as a whole, you know. There was some efficiency here, I'll say that. There was some efficient moments, but you didn't get a lot of great offensive moments for your stars for the most part, at least in terms of Jimmy Butler. Yeah, Kevin Love tonight was 2 of 9. He had 6 points. Jimmy 7 of 19. You know, he made some huge buckets down the stretch, but you know, including the 3, which was crazy. But yeah, Jimmy himself, it wasn't there. But here's the biggest part, the biggest aspect. And this is what you look at when it comes to stars. Sometimes when you're not on it as a star, you got to be able to do other things to affect the game. Jimmy Butler wasn't shooting well, but his defense was there. And most importantly, his playmaking ability was there, which is why you saw 9 assists from Jimmy Butler, because he was setting people up. And at times, he was getting them quality looks, just like in Game 1. Only this time, guys were hitting them shots. So credit to Jimmy Butler for his playmaking ability. Wasn't the best tonight shooting the basketball, but boy, he had his moments in the fourth quarter where he made some clutch baskets. Bam Adebayo has been having a great, and I want to repeat, he's been having a great start to these NBA Finals. If the Finals were to end today and Miami somehow won a championship, I would sit back and say Bam Adebayo deserves Finals MVP, because through 2 games, he has not been afraid to go at Nikola Jokic. And the guy's been doing everything he could. Everything he possibly could do against Jokic defensively, Bam has done it. It's like the AD situation. AD was playing great defense against Jokic, but you're not going to stop Jokic from doing whatever he wants. You're going to make some stops here and there. And your job is to make it difficult for him, but Jokic is going to get his points. And tonight, Jokic got his points. But Bam played some hellish defense against Jokic. And Jokic still scored because he's that damn good. But credit to Bam, because at times he made Jokic make mistakes. And he made Jokic come up short a couple times on these shots. And in fact, he blocked one of Jokic's shots. So Bam's been playing fantastic defense, and he's been playing well to start off these finals. He's definitely Finals MVP right now through 2 games. Gabe Vincent, 23 points, leading all scorers, 8 of 12 from the field. He had 4 threes tonight. Fantastic job by him. Love what I saw from Gabe Vincent. Max Strus tonight was 4 of 10. However, he hit 3 threes early on to help us start fast in this game. So give him credit. He couldn't hit a 3 worth a damn in the first game, but tonight he hit 4 threes. And those 4 threes were important because they got us started in the right place early on in this game. Also, shout out to Kevin Love because he had 10 rebounds. So you knew this guy was out there being very effective. And I got to say this, man. Spoelstra, moving forward, you have to continue to play Kevin Love a lot of minutes because this guy just works well. He needs to move away from Cody Zeller. By the way, Cody Zeller, he was 2 of 2. He had 4 points. Give him credit, you know. He did some things, but I just don't think Cody Zeller works for us right now. Every time he's out there, we start losing badly. Like, if we have a lead, we lose that lead. If we're down, they just extend their lead on us. Cody Zeller just does not work right now. And I understand you got to give rest to Bam and Kevin Love, so you can't really put them out there. But, man, I'm just telling you, man, I don't like anything I'm seeing. I just don't like anything I'm seeing from Cody Zeller. Highsmith wasn't really effective in this game. In fact, he didn't really take a shot, so he played 6 minutes. He was just there to try and help out. The second unit wasn't exactly the greatest early on in this game, so Spoelstra really had to start playing it with the starters because the starters as a whole, they were playing well, so he had to start switching up to that. Duncan Robinson, the unsung hero, 4 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from the three-point line, 10 points. All of that came in the fourth quarter. Shout out to him. Shout out to him because he played well. He played well in the fourth quarter, and if it wasn't for those 10 points, Miami's not even in the position to win the game. So, shout out to him. Caleb Martin, again, had a rough night, 1 of 3. You know, he was already sick heading into this game, so the fact that he was able to play some minutes, give him credit. He played 21 minutes tonight, so the fact that he was able to play, give him credit. Yeah, he hit a big three, in the fourth quarter. Jimmy, I know the play. It was Jimmy was shooting. I believe it was a mid-range jump shot. He pulled up for it. He missed it. It clanked back to Jimmy, and he saw that Caleb Martin was pedaling backwards to the three-point line. He just passed it to Caleb Martin. He was wide open, and Caleb Martin just sunk that three. And that was an important three at that time to try and stop the bleeding that Denver was clearly injecting at that point, because they started to really attack and hit us from the three-point line down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Lowry in this game, 2 of 4 from the field. Both his field goals were three, so that was very important. He went to the free throw line. 9 points for him. And yeah, Kyle Lowry just continues to be effective off the bench. I like what I'm seeing from Kyle Lowry. Obviously, you have to continue to play him. The mix between Lowry's minutes and Strus's minutes, I'm not Strus's, between Lowry and Vince's minutes, it's very important. So, when Lowry's in, he has to continue to be effective. And so far, he's been doing well in that department. Hopefully, he keeps it up. As for the Nuggets, this was a tough game. Aaron Gordon played well, 5 of 7, 12 points, but you can't rely on Aaron Gordon to win you this game. He had 7 rebounds, so good on him, but you can't rely on Aaron Gordon to win you this game. Michael Porter Jr. was 2 of 8, 1 of 6 from the field, and 5 points. You can't have that. He's one of your main shooters. If he can't hit from 3, it's bad. And speaking of another one of your snipers, KCP, 1 of 4 from the field, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 6 points. Those two being single digits in this moment is not good, because both of them were giving you good production. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. was in double digits. I think they had 5 or 6 players in double digits in game 1, so everybody was eating. When you got 2 of your starters not really producing like that, it hurts Denver, because it forces Jokic to do more scoring-wise, and I think that's the key to beat them. The 2 losses they've suffered, so prior to this loss here, I actually believe the 3 losses they've suffered so far, prior to the finals loss they suffered tonight to the Heat, all 3 of those losses, I believe, actually, no. I think it was 2 of those 3 losses. Jokic had 40-plus points, but he didn't really affect the game in terms of playmaking, because guys weren't hitting their shots. When Jokic has 40-plus points but under 10 assists, they're 0-3 right now. That's just how it is. So, these guys have to be more productive. And Jamal Murray, I think he became a bit too passive, because he was 7 of 15 from the field. He wasn't playing bad. It's just he was being very passive. And he had 10 assists. So you could obviously tell he was being passive and not taking shots. He was really feeding Jokic there. So, I mean, credit to them. They got a great dynamic that works for them. But you need Jamal Murray to continue to be aggressive. Jokic can't do it all alone scoring-wise. So you need more from him on that aspect. And, Jeff Green, 9 points for him. He had 6 free throws, so good for him. Bruce Brown with 11 points. He was 4 of 9 for the field. He had 1 3. He was effective, but, it just wasn't enough for them tonight. Came close. And then Braun had 6 points. He made 3 field goals, man. The guy was actually being effective. So you had some production all over the place. It's just down the stretch. These guys couldn't do anything in the fourth quarter. Miami outscored the Denver Nuggets 36-25 in the fourth quarter. And that's a big part of why Miami was able to win, because it was a toughie, man. Then the game came down to the wire. And for much of this, once Denver took that lead, they led. So once they took that lead in the second quarter, they did not look back all the way into the fourth quarter, where Miami found a way to take a lead. So, yeah, it was a tough game. At the end of the day, Miami shot 48% from the field and 48% from the three-point line. They also had 90. They were 90% from the free throw line as well. So good for them. Meanwhile, you look at Denver, and they were 52% from the field, but 39% from the three ultimately hurt them. Miami made 6 more threes than them, and those 3-pointers add up. It just was not a great night overall for the role players, but you had Jokic put up a great game. Miami had 11 turnovers to Denver's 13, so that definitely hurts them in some aspect. But yeah, the game came down to the wire. It was very close. And Denver almost stole this and went up 2-0. They've been able to do that so far in the playoffs, but that actually managed to stop tonight. So credit to the Heat for managing to make that stop, and you got to give credit to Denver for being able to fight back after losing the lead and going down double digits with the game winding down under 4 minutes to go. So, yeah, this is a series, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a series here, and I hope this continues, but we'll just have to see how things go. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you stopping by, watching the video, and I'm just prepared for Game 3. Please, for the love of God, please tell me Tyler Herro's playing in Game 3. I need a hero right now, because there are some stretches in this game where we just can't score a bucket. And we need somebody out there, especially coming off the bench, to score a bucket. You don't need to put Tyler Herro in the starting lineup. Not at this point. You don't need to ruin the You don't need to ruin what you have right now with the chemistry of those guys. You can have Tyler Hero coming off the bench and let him be productive. Though I would say this, though, Spoelstra, I don't know if you want to put both Hero and Duncan Robinson out there. That has hurt us. I remember several times throughout previous postseason runs when those two are on the court together, we're cooked because they're both defensive liabilities. So you're going to want to manage how you do this. You can either put Duncan Robinson out there or you can put Tyler Hero. I do not suggest both because Denver will eat you alive if you do that. Then again, if both of them are making their threes and they're making it consistently, who knows? Maybe it evens out. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you stopping by. That's all I got to say, and we'll see what happens in Game 3. Peace out.